The Atherton Museum stood dark, a fortress of stone and silence. Rain lashed the city streets outside, a relentless, unforgiving downpour. Inside, the Serpent's Eye waited patiently, a necklace of impossible, breathtaking value. Diamonds like captured starlight, cold and brilliant. Midnight struck its lonely, echoing chime, the perfect hour for a master of shadows. Silas had arrived. Silas. That was the name whispered in the darkness. He bypassed the first laser grids with ease. Red beams sliced the empty, stale air, useless against his careful, practiced dance. Pressure plates lay hidden in the polished floor. He knew their every secret, their exact placement. He floated over them, a phantom in the gloom. Silent, unseen, undetected. Closer now, to his glittering prize. The vault door loomed before him then, heavy, imposing, forged from thick, unyielding steel. A complex locking mechanism guarded its secrets. His gloved fingers danced across the cold metal surface. Tiny, specialized tools worked with surgical precision. Tumblers clicked softly, a private symphony only he could hear. He felt the final give, a subtle, satisfying shift. No hesitation, no wasted motion, never. Pure, unwavering focus in the oppressive silence. The lock surrendered to his touch. The massive door swung open inward, slowly, heavily, revealing the treasure within. Inside, on a pedestal of black velvet, the Serpent's Eye shimmered, cool gallery light on cold, ancient diamonds. It lay there, serene, untouched for decades. He reached out a steady, gloved hand, took it. The weight was familiar, exhilarating. Then, an alarm shrieked through the museum, loud, piercing, a decoy. His decoy, perfectly timed. He allowed himself a fleeting, knowing smile. Who was this man, this enigma named Silas? A ghost in the global art world, a myth. Some whispered he was ex-military, special forces, trained in the arts of stealth and infiltration. Others spoke of a brilliant magician, one who had simply vanished from the grand stage. His true past was a carefully locked room. Few held a key, none held them all. He preferred it that way. Anonymity was his strongest shield. The truth, as it often is, was simpler, and far sadder than the legends told. He was an orphan, adrift, lost in the sprawling, indifferent system. He learned young, the hard way. The world played favorites. Justice was a mirage. Art, discovered in dusty library books, became his only solace. Then, eventually, it became his defiant target. A rebellion against everything that had failed him. A way to claim what he felt was owed. Money, surprisingly, was a secondary concern. The real prize for Silas? The intricate game. The thrill of outsmarting the powerful. The arrogant, beating the unbeatable systems they built. Each successful theft was a silent message. A direct challenge to the complacent elite. He played for the highest stakes, always. He never played to lose. It was about mastery, about control. The control he never had as a child. He perceived the art world as a gilded cage, beauty locked away, hoarded by the few, not shared with the many who might appreciate it. He believed in his own twisted logic that he set it free. Or perhaps, he simply liked the profound thrill of taking. The lines of motivation had blurred long ago, lost in the shadows of his past. He was an avenger. He was a thief. He was both, and neither. Silas was simply Silas. Planning a heist was everything to Silas. It was his true consuming art form. Weeks, sometimes dragging into months, of meticulous preparation. He studied architectural blueprints until they were memorized. They were his sacred texts, his maps to forbidden kingdoms. Every wire, every sensor, every camera angle, every potential escape route charted and recharted. He knew the buildings better than those who worked there. He walked their halls in his mind again and again. No detail was too small to escape his notice. He watched, he listened, he absorbed. Guard patrols, their predictable routines logged, their habits, their conversations, their moments of distraction. He noted sensor blind spots, the tiny flaws in technology, delivery truck timings, staff shift changes, the subtle underlying rhythm of the target location. He learned its unique pulse, its mechanical breath, long before he ever dared to strike. Patience was his most trusted ally. Impatience was the downfall of lesser thieves. Technology was a useful tool, certainly. Miniature cameras, sophisticated scanners, signal jammers. But people, Silas knew, were his greatest specialty. Their inherent predictability, their fatal lapses in attention. He understood the human element, its frailties. He used their own flaws, their assumptions against them, masterfully, consistently, without fail. A subtle suggestion here, a planted piece of misinformation there. He could orchestrate chaos from the shadows, or ensure a silence that was just as deceptive. Sometimes, the plan required a disguise, a new face, a temporary borrowed name. He could become a nondescript maintenance worker, an art courier with impeccable credentials, a forgotten employee, lost in the bureaucratic shuffle. He became utterly invisible when he chose, a true ghost moving through their complex systems. He walked among them, often inches away, unnoticed, unremarkable, unforgettable once gone. His deceptions were as flawless as his entries. The years flew by as they always do. Silas became a whispered legend, a phantom, a thorn in the side of international law enforcement. Detective Harding, however, never once gave up the chase. Harding was a bulldog, relentless, driven. He understood Silas, or thought he did, almost too well. The global hunt intensified with each passing year. Time, Silas knew, was running out for him, or perhaps for the game itself. One final grand performance was needed. The Starlight Serenade. A lost Monet, whispered to be in a private, impenetrable collection, hidden from the world, guarded like a state secret, reputed to be utterly impossible to reach. The ultimate prize for a man like Silas. He felt its irresistible call, a siren song. One final audacious masterpiece to acquire, one last dangerous dance on the edge. The stakes were higher than they had ever been. This time, everything was on the line. The night of the planned heist arrived. Cold, clear, stars like chips of ice in the black sky. Harding was there, waiting. He knew. The entire operation was an elaborate trap. Silas knew it too. He had anticipated it. But he walked into the lion's den anyway. The game had its unwritten rules. His rules. The grand show, after all, must go on. This was the crescendo he had orchestrated, for an audience of one, or perhaps two. Sirens screamed suddenly, cutting through the night. Floodlights erupted, washing the scene in harsh white glare. Harding finally cornered him, face to face. "It's over, Silas," the detective said, his voice tight. A faint, almost imperceptible smile played on Silas's lips. He held up an empty space between his hands. The Monet vanished, gone like a dream. Silas himself melted into the ensuing chaos. Another perfect, impossible escape. Or was it? The legend of Silas would only grow deeper.